Lucrezia Borgia, Scandal, Power and Mystery. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel if you are new and leave a like on the video. Now let's start. In an age when alliances were sealed in blood and kisses could hide daggers, a young woman with golden hair moved gracefully through gilded halls and deep shadows. Her name whispered fear, desire, and scandal. While the priests preached morality, she danced between sin and power. To some, she was a saint. To others, a demon. But one thing was certain: no one dared ignore her. In the heart of Renaissance Italy, Rome pulsated under a veil of gold and corruption. Among cardinals with unspeakable secrets and nobles with daggers hidden under their cloaks, a girl of extraordinary beauty was born, Lucrezia Borgia. Born in April 1480, she was the daughter of Rodrigo Borgia, an ambitious Spanish cardinal who would later become Pope Alexander VI. But Rome back then was not for the weak. There, religion and politics slept in the same bed, and sometimes with the same people. Rodrigo did not bother to hide his children, which scandalized the most devout. He treated Lucrezia like a princess, yes, but also like a pawn. From an early age, she understood that her hand could be worth a city, and her eyes could seal alliances or destroy kingdoms. At just 11 years old, she was promised in marriage to Giovanni Sforza to consolidate the alliance with the powerful Milanese family. But behind the scenes, it was just another game played by her ruthless and strategic brother, Cesare. Lucrezia never knew childhood. She grew up amidst whispers, promises, and threats. He knew that in Rome, even the walls had ears. Trust was a luxury for the few, and his story had just begun. At 13, Lucrezia was already married, adorned with jewels and silk veils, while the corridors of the Vatican whispered about her. Her husband, Giovanni Sforza, was 27. She was just another pawn in her father and brother's game. But as in any chess game, the pawns that lose value are eliminated. The alliance with the Sforzas became useless for the Borgias. The solution? Annul the marriage. The excuse? The groom's impotence. Yes, that's right. The Pope, father of the bride, officially declared that John was not capable of consummating the union. Finesse, zero. Humiliated, Giovanni reacted with the only weapon he had: his words. He publicly accused Lucrezia of incest with her father and brother Cesare, an unprecedented scandal. And the most curious thing is that nothing was ever proven, but the damage was already done. From that moment, reality and legend began to mix. It was said that Lucrezia wore a poison ring hidden under a hollow stone, that her kisses could kill. Truth or invention of her enemies. At that point, it mattered little. The name Borgia had already become synonymous with lust, power, and death, and Lucrezia was beginning to get used to his dark reputation. The second marriage to Alfonso of Aragon seemed promising. Young, handsome, nephew of the King of Naples. It was said that there was respect between them, perhaps even affection. But in Rome, feelings lasted less than a banquet dish. Cesare Borgia, now an ally of France, considered the Aragonese a political threat. And for the Borgias, a threat is synonymous with a death sentence. On a hot summer night, Alfonso was attacked by hooded men on the steps of St. Peter's. He survived, but a few days later, he was strangled in his bed. The crime was blamed on Caesar's men. It is said that Lucrezia was destroyed by it. She closed herself in silence for days, out of love, out of fear, out of awareness of being once again just a pawn. Maybe all of these things together. That murder sealed the dark reputation of the Borgia family and Lucrezia. People began to see her as an accomplice. After all, how many dead husbands can be attributed to chance? After the scandals in Rome, Lucrezia was sent away. She married a third time to Alfonso d'Este, Duke of Ferrara, an arranged marriage, but this time it was different. In Ferrara, Lucrezia reinvented herself. She became a respected duchess, a patron of the arts, admired by poets, painters, musicians. Her court flourished under her influence. Even Ariosto and Pietro Bembo praised her. The latter wrote her letters that hinted at an affection deeper than friendship, but her fame followed her everywhere. For many, she was still the poisoned woman, the daughter of the dissolute Pope. Perhaps her true prison was never the rooms of the Vatican, but the gaze of history. Lucrezia had 7 children and lost many. She experienced real pain, far from the fantasies of the chroniclers. She died at 39 in 1519 from complications during childbirth, in silence, almost as if her exit had been written long ago. The question remains, was Lucrezia guilty or merely a reflection of the sins of the men around her? Victim or cunning player? One thing is certain, centuries later, we still talk about her, and that, in itself, is rare power. We have come to the end of another epic adventure into the past. Between silk veils and Vatican shadows, we have seen how a woman can become a legend, even when history wants to paint her only with the colors of guilt. In conclusion, Lucrezia Borgia, a name that still today evokes charm, mystery, and fear. A woman who lived in a world sown by men, where alliances were made with marriages and broken with poisons. Was she a victim of power or an accomplice? Was she truly the femme fatale that legend describes, or just a young woman forced to survive in the cruel game of Renaissance politics? We may never know the whole truth, but what is certain is that unlike so many other women of her time, Lucrezia was not forgotten. For better or worse, she left her mark on history. And perhaps this is her greatest victory. That's all for today. And what do you think about the scandalous life of Lucrezia Borgia, the Pope's daughter? Let me know in the comments. I also made a whole video about Pope Borgia and his scandalous life, like his daughter. If you missed it, you can find it on the channel, and also let me know which video you would like to see next. See you next time. Bye.